what we're going to look at are goal-specific bundles, so weight loss, muscle gain, right? And how I would, if I was sitting down with a client, if I'm saying how I would bundle it based on either their goal and where they are in their goal, right? Or budget, okay? And the experience is a big part of it, because I'm not going to put some novice person on everything we have, right? It doesn't make any sense. You know, but they're going to start at a lower level and then add as they get closer and closer to their goal. Now, like the weight loss is different. See, that's where it's the one exception to that rule, which we will look at in just a little bit. And again, that's part of your challenge. That's why I want to make sure you hear what I say here, because goal-specific bundles otherwise are based on experience. But when it comes to body fat, basically, how much money you got? How fast do you want to go? You want me to turn 12 weeks into 6? I can do it. So we can look at that, and that's how the bundles are kind of laid out on that part. But first of all, the reason I have to start with this, because I'm psycho about this. You know, in my lifetime as not just an athlete, but as working with people, and I mean literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands and millions when you talk about taking the intellectual property I've created and put it in all of our properties, from 24-hour fitness, Gold's Gym to all of the properties, right? So millions of people, and I won't even let them work with me without the first thing. So let's get this over with right now. There's not a single client, there's not a single person on the planet that should not be doing what we call baseline, right? So that's the first bundle, no matter what, is you got a multivitamin mineral. That is not negotiable. I want you functioning at 100% vitamin mineral activity, since everything is vitamin mineral dependent, right? And I want to make sure that you're getting 1 gram per pound of protein of lean body mass daily. That will support your lifelong independence from a nutritional standpoint. And by the way, it works for all goals. It's not just for weight loss, all goals. I mean, why would I work with somebody functioning with getting from food alone 60 to 80% of the vitamins and mineral activity in their body when I can make their fat go faster with a vitamin mineral, including appetite, by making sure that they're getting all the vitamins and minerals they need. Everything in your system, everything in your body, your muscular system, your cardiovascular system, your immune system, okay, your cognitive system, your fat loss system, and your fat gain system is all vitamin mineral dependent. So bottom line is, you gotta start. It's like saying, I'm not gonna eat. I'm just gonna take, do this. So you have no choice. This is something that is so important. So this is baseline, no matter who I work with, no matter who I talk to, whether it's family members or friends or anything, that's it. Now we can go down the road. So I wanted to get that out of the way. These are just, those are negotiable based on diet, as you guys know. Okay, so getting that out of the way. Now you know why these supplements that you guys see me use this in the play span thing are the most popular supplements in the world, right? The body can now upregulate, and now everything is going to work 1,000 times better, period. So that's done. All right, so let's get now. What's beyond that now? Let's take health. So let's long-term health, if that is the goal. If I'm going to sell a package for long-term health, here's what it looks like. We already know what level 1 is. We're talking about level 1. Guess what that is? Okay, surprise. All right, so there's level 1 for long-term health, right? Level 2, okay, you add a protein. See how simple this is going to look? It's going to look like this the whole pre-zone. You add a protein for all the things we just talked about. And by the way, what you should all know, and I know you guys are kind of laughing because this is level 1 for me, but the reason we have this listed as level 1 here, because we want the lowest barrier of entry. And at $19 for a 2-month supply, that's a low barrier of entry. Now, when you add a protein to it, what are you doing? You're saving them money on their groceries. You're saving an individual almost $50 on groceries if they were trying to get this 1 gram per pound from food alone. Because it has to be a quality protein source or the protein doesn't count. So keep that in mind. Well, that's health. That pays for all the vitamins for the rest of your life and more. And there's no reason you would ever stop using that as a protein supplement for the rest of your life, especially if you're exercising. So keep that in mind, right? That's a big play, especially during your challenges. When you're talking to people, I'm getting that protein because they're going to need that, and it's going to save them money on their grocery bill. So that's level 2. Level 3 now. So what am I going to give you next? Well, it's going to be the superior antioxidant, right? Because even if you're taking our active multi, which has high levels of C and super high levels of C and D, right? You're still you're not getting the antioxidants here. This is a non-vitamin antioxidant. For those of you that, I know you know this, but these are carotenoids. So you have your lycopene, you have your lutein, you have your zeaxanthin. Those are carotenoids. Now we're putting astaxanthin in it. So these are the things that protect our skin, but they also protect inflammation. So it also helps the immune system. And when all of our athletes have to take it, every athlete we work with, because it's a whole separate antioxidant mechanisms. They are actually going into the body and they're balancing the inflammation, completely different than vitamin mineral antioxidants, completely different targets. And they come from fruits and vegetables, and we know no one's getting that, all from their diet. That's the only place they come from, right? But they support eye structure. The zeaxanthin and lutein, they protect our eyes from the rays. Otherwise, we'd be blind, all of us, right? And nobody gets enough of it. So we want to protect the eyes longer. Now you see why we give it to athletes too. Brain structure and function, all of those things. And then the other two, energy, alpha lipoic acid and CoQ10, support energy that declines not just in aging, but it declines in exercise. So we have most of all of our athletes using this to make up for what during exercise, when all these things are suppressed, we're giving them all that back. So that's number 3 from a health standpoint, all the way around, and a recovery standpoint. All right. So that's level 3. And then finally, to maximize daily recovery, or we can call level 4, you can make, the reason we call these things levels, you can call them anything you want. You can call them essential, better yet, best. Okay, there's all kinds of, so you guys make that up in your marketing department, how you want to call these things and lay it out that way. All right, so last one here, this one here, you add the ultra probiotic, okay? And now you've got GI tract, right? Because it's, by the way, probiotics have increased 300% in sales worldwide, globally, since the pandemic. Everyone's buying probiotics now, all right? Of course, our sales have quadrupled as well. But the bottom line is they help protect the GI tract. And as we all learned earlier, 70% of your immune system is connected to your GI, your gastrointestinal tract. So the probiotic, getting the bacteria right, sends better signals through that access. The immune system access to the gut just keeps going back and forth, tells cells to produce this. It stops pathogens from entering the body, which is why these things have picked up so much. So again, that's the next thing in the budget, right? Now, for older adults, people like me, you got the brain health and joint flex. And that, of course, would automatically fall into this too. So when I do them, like you guys know, you can probably name any top CEO on the globe, and I take care of their nutrition programs for them. All of them will have will have this whole array in there. And that's, of course, myself as well in that. I'm not that I'm a top CEO, but I rank up there somewhere. Okay. So anyway, and I take care of myself. So anyway, there's your whole set of bundles right there for your health, right? Boom, 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 based on budget. That is 100% based on budget. The only time it comes down to age is down here. Okay, let's go to the next then. So this is what it looks like. Rob put these all together. These are really cool. We got some nice flyers for each one of these things. So you guys can use that, the bundle flyer. You can use these bundle flyers at your, at any of your challenges.
Hey, Greg, I'll actually send you another short PDF with just those separated on each piece of paper. And if you want me to get you guys the actual, beyond the PDF, I use PowerPoint because I'm such an amazing advertising marketing whiz. That's meant to be a joke. I'll send that to you if you guys want to do anything with it to edify it.
Yeah, and then you can, that's why we leave these blank. You can go essential, better yet, best. I mean, you can play with this. Your marketing people are way smarter than we are. Okay. So again, these are things that you guys can do, any way you like. All right. So we just took care of one goal. Let's go to the next. Now, here's where the exception comes. And this is what you guys are going to be doing. Sport and fitness, goal specific level definitions. I'm going to level 1, level 2. I'm going to put them all down here. But weight loss can be an exception to what we're going to see right here. Level 1, we already know that, is everyone. Okay, so there's no exception to level 1 in any of the packages you're going to see going forward, or the ones you just saw. But level 2, when it comes to specific goal, whether it be muscle gain or whatever, that's after they max out at level 1 and they want more. They want to take their muscle gain to the next level. Some people don't want to, right? Okay, so those are things that, we have like performance. They don't want to perform anymore. They just want to recover daily. And these are the same algorithms that are in our program, you guys. That's why when you fill out our program, it asks you, are you a recreational athlete? Or do you want to take your training? Have you trained more than 1 year? Do you want to take your gains to the next level? Or did you train like a competitor, or are you a competitor? Those three, that's what we're talking about. So we just took it out and put it here for you. All right. So after maximizing at level 1 and they want more, that's level 2. Level 3, once they maximize level 2 supplements and their goals, they come to a plateau and they want more, would be level 3 supplementation. And then finally, you're all in. You train like a competitor, you want your gains to keep coming, you're all in, like the athletes that we work with. Okay, so that's what you're going to see in all categories. The exception, again, is weight loss, because I can get you all in and make things go really fast, right? And that's all budget. So that'll all be budget. So let's do that first, all right? So weight loss, level 1, and listen, I know I keep beating this up. There you go. Level 1 is your protein and your multi. That's level 1. And again, you're saving money. So they're actually gonna be making money buying this from you, right? If you actually use it the way it's designed to use. All right, next, level 2. The first thing I give anybody, as long as they don't have any adverse events to stimulus, is Thermexcel. And Thermexcel, especially since we just updated it last year, I mean, it is, and by the way, we sold out of it for 4 months, as I know you guys know, and more than that, 5 months because of COVID. I mean, everybody's buying it because it works that well. There's nothing that controls weight and appetite better than Thermexcel now today. So that's always the first thing I give to the person to help speed and ease the journey. This gets you there no matter what. No one's arguing that, because diet and exercise do the rest. But this one here makes it a lot easier and makes you can burn more calories without having to move more. All of those. If they do have adverse reactions to stimulants, which you'd be surprised, very few people have to Thermexcel because it's a very mild stimulant, but it just really gets you going. Then you use weight loss and liver support. So that's level 2. Level 3, add amino boosts, because the Lean-MR you can't use, and you can use any protein, by the way. Whenever you have a protein up here, I use Lean-MR only because for weight loss situation, because it works for satiety, and you use it for meal replacements. You can use any of our proteins for meal replacements, and you can make them any way you want. All this is starting material. You can add carbs, you can add fats, you can add fruits, you can add vegetables, and especially with the unflavored, okay, which is our very most popular online supplement, is the unflavored protein. Okay, so the situation here, again, you can change it out, but because you can't use Lean-MR for a pre-post shake. So if you've got people that are training hard, and especially in your challenges, they're going to be training hard, you want to get them amino boosts. So level 3 would be before and after. This is the before and after protein stimulator, right? Okay, because basically it's hardly any calories, and you're getting that full anabolic reaction before and after the workout, and you're saving the calories, right? So again, that would be level 3. Now you add a pre-post with it. Level 4, you want to go to warp speed. This is warp speed, rapid results. That's the whole kitchen sink. We're going to hit every target to disarm the body's defenses. The body has multiple defenses against starving yourself. So every time you get one appetite and shut that down, another thing will fire up. Otherwise, people will just stare at food and die if they have damage done to their brain somehow. So what we do with all of this, weight loss, liver support, Thermexcel, and carb repel, they're getting the whole gamut here. And they can take them all together. They don't have to do it over the 90 days. They can do it all together and run out in 30 days. You just take them as directed. Use Thermexcel every day, weight loss, liver support every day, and you're hitting all mechanisms of appetite. That's what I do for actors and actresses that get under tight timelines, right? And carb repel, you just take it every time you're having carbs in the meal. You'll cut some calories out. So that's the warp speed right there. You got everything here, and you're taking all 3 of those things at the same time. So there it is. That's why I say there's no level concern here, because most people, if the question here to any client I would ever sit down with is how much money you got and how fast you want to go, because I'll get you there very fast with very little pain doing this. Okay. Otherwise, we got to just, we'll start here. If that's all you got, that's all we're going to do. Right. And then we can just kind of go from there. So this one here doesn't matter where they are in their plight to getting to the next level. That makes sense? Shake your head, Greg, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, so now you guys, here's the thing, all steadied up here like this. You guys will have that available. your essential, better yet best, whatever you want to call it. All right, muscle gain. And of course, all of our favorites. All I do is muscle shrink, but I'm doing everything I can to hang on to what's left. All right, so level 1, and I go, wonder what that is. Okay, but if it's muscle gain, of course, we want the protein that's got the carbs in it at a 2-to-1 ratio. One of the kind of the sadder things that you see, some people that are, they're trying to put on muscle, they'll count the carbs too low. You're not going to build as much muscle when you cut the carbs. You've got to get them up. And it's okay to gain a little fat. It's okay to gain a little bit of body fat when you're gaining muscle. It makes it a lot easier to gain muscle, right? So that's why first string is so important. All of our pro athletes that are shredded, they use first string. My sons, both of them, that's all they use. And again, the bottom line is it's because they're burning calories and they're athletes. I use it because I pretend like I'm an athlete, but I don't deserve the carbs, obviously. Right, so I just pretend. But by taking those 2 scoops after my workout, I feel like, see, I'm an athlete. Okay, so I still use it, and I still use the active, but I should be taking the over 50. Can you believe that?
Because Neil, you're an equestrian.
Yeah. What's that?
You're an equestrian.
Yeah,
that's
right.
An athlete.
All right, that's true. I am. I feed my horse first string too. All right. Okay, level 2. You know what's coming now. Obviously creatine. And it'd be the monohydrate, and I'll tell you why. It is strictly because I want you to load. It's always, if your goal is muscle gain and you load, you're going to get there faster because you can load and be all done in 5 to 6 days, 5-7 days, before you start going to the next level. So level 2, creatine monohydrate, right? And you take it right there before we work out, right after, with your protein. Level 3, add the amino boost. Now we're into protein stacking, right? You've got your first string 40 minutes before. You take amino boost right before you start working out and drink it during the workout. And then take another scoop right after. And you guys have seen all those studies I posted on the DocFit Champions that since 2005, I've been doing it around the world with the athletes. I was the first guy to launch the product with that 8 essentials in there like that. And lo and behold, all the studies now are just proving what we were doing. Protein stacking makes everything more anabolic. And there's more protein building, more muscle protein synthesis when you do it exactly the way we started doing it in 2005 for our athletes. So anyway, add the amino boost before and immediately after, and then you would take your first string 30-40 minutes after that as well. That's the protein stack. What we're doing is we're maximizing anabolism. So whatever your body can possibly do, we are flooding the muscle with the trigger molecules. You've got all of these, and here's the beauty of this. You've got the 8 triggers. There's only 8 amino acids that are involved in triggering muscle growth, only 8. But it needs all of them to finish it, right? So you've got your foods delivering the rest of it, and you've got first string, which is complete protein. So you have the immediate, what we call hyperaminoacidemia going on in the muscles because of all this here, immediately getting the muscle. And then you've got the other protein slower filling it in, so you have the prolonged response. Okay, so it's just obviously a best possible solution. Legal solution, right? Obviously the next level is what we used to call, Greg will know, component 6, which was you have 5 components. Component 6 was the drugs. So we're not in that business. All right. Okay, but maximum results. Here we go. This is now best, and this of course is the super stack. And all of our stacks. So we got add 07 of this and Extreme Creatine XXL, and now you have all of this going together. And you guys have seen this on the sites, and all of you that we take care of, like Anna. Leora, I know you guys use the stacks, quite regularly. And by the way, all the stacks are right here on this link. So you can go right to the site and get it all laid out to a T. But this is what it looks like. So here we go. You got your multi, you got your omega, and you've got your first string. So that's the first part. That's the first week. So if you ever guys seen this, the people that haven't seen this, this is what it looks like. This is what we do for like the world's strongest man, who's right. His picture's up on the wall here. He's 450-pound freak. Along with all the teams we work with, other celebrities. So the second week now, so this is what you get. This is what you get the first week. We're getting you all baseline plus amino boost, and we go the first week that way. The second week we start creatine with this stacking, right? And then we load. Now we are loaded, and by the 6th day we are loaded of the second week, and then we add Extreme Creatine XXL. Right in here, and then it shows you how you back down on this, but you still take it, and now you've got the extreme with the beta alanine and the glutamine in it, and then boom, Week 4, NO7 rage. Now you are on your way to being jacked, stacked, and Big Mac. And that's about as far as you're going to be able to get, all the way around with natural stuff and getting your body to function at its highest possible physiological level right there for producing performance and recovery and muscle gain. So that's what it looks like. And that's what the whole different stuff looks like there. Any questions on muscle gain? Good? Okay. All right, let's go to performance. Now, this isn't a whole lot of difference because, they are not necessarily mutually exclusive. I want people to realize that. It's like, I know you guys know we do a lot of NFL combines. We all do nutrition programs for them. When these kids come in, they're obviously, these are all top draft choices in the NFL. So they come to a combine to get ready for the combine. And on the NFL combine, and they all want to gain muscle, they want to do this and this. Well, you know what? You can put on too much muscle and compromise performance. It's not like, size and strength athletes. That's a little different situation. So performance is important. There's a little different balance there when you work with athletes on those things. But so let's just take a look at this. And again, this will be, like we said, based on experience as well, because obviously level 1 gets everybody started. So when I work with any athlete for the first time, and don't forget, I'm talking about a novice now. I'm not talking about an experienced athlete. Experienced athlete has for performance, they get the whole gamut, right? But this is how you start. And once they get closer to a plateau or progress slows, then you go to level 2, right? And then you're adding amino boost to it. So this is not unlike what we just looked at. The only way we have pre-post in here, because Rob made me put it in here, I'd argue first string is still better. This is just lower carb. It's exactly the same protein. All of our protein is exactly the same way. All we do is have a carb difference in those, and that's what this is here. And then nothing more. There's a little bit less carb. But in the gym, people don't need as many carbs as performance athletes. All right, so keep that in mind. But your bottom line is you can use your .fit favorite protein, but you got to match the carbs to the sport. So for instance, you take an endurance athlete you work with, they don't just use first string. We add carbs to the first string, because they've got to have like a 4-to-1 ratio to last, which is completely different. All right, so I'm just giving you an idea here. But now they want to go to the next level, right? Because they've maxed out at this, not maxed out, but they want to keep going. Then we add amino boost, right? Go to the next level. Then we add, as we just talked about, the superior antioxidants. So why is this so important to this performance? I kind of explained it earlier. The harder you train, the more inflammation the body gets, which we know, which is something that has to happen. But what happens is it overreacts, just like in the immune system. Overreacts, like people die of COVID. They can't control the inflammation that's happening from the infection, right? There's a balance there that has to happen. And the superior antioxidant, like I talked to, the carotenoids in there work strongly to control the right balance of inflammation so it doesn't get out of control. That's what the goal is, right? So important for an athlete's recovery, no matter how young you are on that whole thing. Now, the other reason, remember I talked about eye health? Lutein and zeaxanthin are common supplements given to baseball players because we know they can improve what we call processing speed. It can improve a ton of things. So processing speed is how fast you take a visual cue and you can react to your hand and move, right? So I just put it down here. Processing is the amount of time needed to make a correct judgment about a visual stimulus. And that is I don't need to tell you how important that is to hand-eye athletes, right? So that's why that becomes the next level, because these people are now getting to that place where they're probably going to compete. And then the final level, we add this, and that is the muscle defender glutamine. That's because it's added recovery. When athletes are pushing the envelope for performance, so an endurance, ultra endurance athletes, the last 6 to 8 weeks, they're all taking glutamine. That's why you see it also in my immune bundles, because glutamine is what supports the immune system probably more than any single nutrient beyond vitamins and minerals, I'm talking, because of the GI tract. Your GI tract replaces its cells every 3 days, and it uses glutamine as the energy to do that. Even though it's amino acid, it uses the energy. That's why very little gets in the body. Yet every time the body is stressed, every system in the body wants glutamine. It's trying to rob it. So it's become a conditionally essential amino acid when you're under stress, physical stress. And of course, during the immune system is compromised. Almost all your ultra endurance athletes, almost right across the board, get viral infections after they compete, because it's called exercise-induced immune suppression. Exercise has a diminishing return when you work that hard. So the last 6 weeks, bodybuilders, all these people, when they're stressed, we get them on glutamine to be able to, you can't stop a virus, but you can stop the infection, or you can control it by having glutamine in there. Because glutamine with your gut health talks to your immune system all the way. So that's that part. Now, the only other thing I put in here is workout extreme. And you don't see creatine in here because it doesn't mean you wouldn't use creatine for performance, but it really depends on the sport. And that's why in our program, we list all the sports. If you pick one, we know which one creatine can help and which one we don't have enough evidence, or you would have to lose weight to make it help. But caffeine is unequivocally universal performance enhancer. No exception, no activity exception, mental activity or physical activity. And by the way, this just came out. Well, I say just came out. We've known that for years, but the position stand by International Society of Sports Nutritionists came out and just said it, without a doubt, there's not a single activity it does not support and increase versus placebo or any of those. So I kind of put that down here. Bottom line is workout extreme, and no one does it better than this product. This product nails it when, again, I spent a lot of time putting it together, especially with the taurine, right? So this is definitely something there. But here, down here, just real quick, caffeine is a universal performance enhancer, including muscular endurance, movement velocity, muscular strength, sprinting, jumping, throwing performance, and then tons of aerobic and anaerobic sport-specific activities or intermittent athletes like football players. And I don't even know an athlete that doesn't use coffee before they train. I don't. But if you're going to use it to really enhance performance, you need it as a supplement. Coffee is just a wild card. You don't know how much you're actually getting. And there's a specific, like 2 milligrams of caffeine per pound of weight is probably the right number. And we lay that all out and how you use it, how you space it, 4-hour shelf, 4-hour half-life in the blood, and when you start dosing again. Like all our ultra endurance athletes, they're taking it while they're moving, while they're in the competition and so forth. So again, that's how this can affect performance depending on your sport here. And again, focus and reaction time, big part of sports. We know that it works. In fact, you can't even be a commercial pilot unless you can tolerate caffeine because of reaction time. Okay, so there you go. That's performance. Any questions on performance? Okie doke. Then our last one, not last one, there's the one we just stuck in, Rob has put in, youth development. Now, this is the one, obviously, you guys know I'm most passionate about. I'm the guy that grew up with no parents, and so I just lucky to live with families that took care of me and so forth. But I've always been psycho about kids being able to get food. I grew up, barely, being able to find food, right? Well, the bottom line is this is where I feel really passionate about getting that information out about them. We're not talking about, parents, well, I don't want my kids to take supplements. What do you mean you don't want your kids to take supplements? That's an irresponsible stance, and how that got soaked into people's heads, I'll never get. Have you ever watched your kid eat? Are they getting what they're supposed to be getting? Have you seen the kids today? The obesity and all the other things? Something's wrong with people that think that way. I'm not going to give your kid creatine. We're not talking about stuff like that. But I think they put every supplement in a category. We're talking about a multivitamin and mineral. The same thing you gave your kid when they were in the womb. The exact same thing, except it's a little higher dose because they're bigger when they come out. Right? You're just filling gaps. And that wiped out 35% of birth defects. So don't tell me you're not going to give your kid a vitamin and mineral and keep it going. It's like, this is like something's just wrong with you. And of course, I have that conversation because I can with every parent. So I coach Pop Warner, and I got them all sitting out there, all the parents, first day of practice, got them all out there, and I just rail them, And then I said, listen, and I know how your kid's going to be before they get to practice. So each one of you are going to give your kid a food product. It's not a supplement. It's a food product. They're going to have this before they come here, and they're going to have it after so they heal better and they make it through the fourth quarter. Otherwise, your kid probably won't start because they're going to be passing out all the time because of the way they eat before they get here. And that's a food product. So don't think of it as a supplement. You're just making sure they recover. Don't you want that to happen? By the way, and I always throw in this. So growth and development. I can add inches to your kid's growth when their growth plates are open, they're getting all the protein and vitamin minerals they need. I can add, and every parent's in for that. That'll just maximize growth. And not only that, they're not just better on the field, they're better in the classroom. And you know that. Kids that eat like shit fall asleep in class all day long. We can prove that. So again, this is just a simple program for every kid on the planet. Now, if you're not an athlete and you can get all your protein from food, you're fine with that. But if you're a kid, a young kid, these are important. Not to mention it's loaded with calcium. And a lot of kids aren't drinking milk these days because their parents just stopped buying it for some stupid reason. Right? So they're missing their vitamin D and their calcium, and they fracture. They fracture 8 times. Non-milk drinker kids fracture 8 times more than milk drinkers. And it's not the milk. It's the vitamins and minerals in the milk. They're fortified. They're stuck in there, right? So we made sure by taking their multivitamin with a high vitamin D and the calcium that's in here and the protein and so forth, they've got what they need, right? If a kid fractures, what do you think? They're going to keep playing ball? No, they're going to quit. That's why you got all these kids that play baseball or basketball when they're tiny little kids and they stop playing. That's a big reason. So just that simple little program, and that's it. That's level 1, and that's all they need, right? And level 2, the reason I put this in here, this is just if they're not eating fish. All your prenatals now include omega-3. All your good docs are putting omega-3s with the prenatal in the womb because of brain development. The third trimester requires DHA and EPA, especially DHA. So the same thing happens later. The constant maintenance of the brain cells. So if you're not eating fish, this isn't negotiable. If you're not eating fish, which most kids don't, 1 omega. That's why I call it level 2. But it's only added as needed, right? Like none of my kids do because they're professional athletes take 3 or 4 of these a day, regardless if they eat fish, because there is a recovery aspect on that. But we're not talking about that here. We're just talking about if a kid's not eating fish, 1 a day will satisfy their needs if they're not eating fish. I put the numbers down here. And then calcium, hopefully, if they're using our shakes for 2 servings a day, 1 before the workout and 1 after, or just maybe 1 or 2, adding it to their milk, then they can have it anytime at night or anything else. They're getting enough calcium with that combined with their diet. I put all those numbers down here for you guys. So for all you guys that work with parents that have kids, this is just what you want. Basically, just the top 2 things so they have them maximize growth and development. And that's really what this is all about. And look how simple it is. There's nothing more than that. And now you've got a good chance. And a little quip. I don't know if I told you guys this last time. My kids, when they were born, of course, my wife, breastfed for the first 6 months, 9 months all the time. And after that, when you go to the bottle, that's, you should know that a baby formula is nothing more than a multivitamin mixed with milk. That's what they are. You're still taking your multivitamin when you're doing a baby formula, and you're still getting it in prenatal through breastfeeding. So you're never off it until you get off the baby formula. So I was always traveling back then, but whenever I came home and got to feed them, I always wanted to take advantage of being able to feed them with a baby bottle. So I would take the bottle when my wife wasn't looking, take a scoop of protein powder and put it in there, mix it up. And because everybody looks at my kids and go, how do they get so tall? And I go, so I force fed them when their growth plates were still open. I made sure they got everything they needed. They're so much taller than both of us, and so, and I guess it worked because they're still playing ball. They're still getting it done. But anyway, the bottom line is, and that's not a joke, by the way, it's a true story. And because, all it is food. It's just ground up food, put in a can, again, easy, and it's tasty. And as they grew up, mixing it, using a first strain, we used high performance, you remember it, Greg, it was Apex High Performance, the same thing. And, bottom line is they wouldn't eat fruits and vegetables. I could hide it in that. It was a great delivery system, get those things that they needed. So it works really well, and it's a food product. A multi and a protein, bingo, you got it done for a kid. And maybe you don't need the protein if they're not, active. No big deal. They can just, that multi's to die for all the way around. And no one makes one like ours. So there it is. Okay, so there's just your bundle. I mean, this is yes, when you start. If they're not getting that, then you can add those things as well. And that's the thing. By law, every single food product has to have the calcium listed. The other 30 vitamins and minerals aren't listed on stuff because you can't see them. You don't even know they're there. You got to can't even test for them, right? That's why you have to take a multivitamin mineral. But calcium by law, that's serious. Osteoporosis and breaking down early in life fractures is that serious where they had to put calcium on how much is in your food so you can add it up, right? And make sure you get an 11 or 1200 from food alone. And As I think you guys know, I've never taken a calcium supplement. Still drink milk, get all I need from my first strain in that. And I'd much rather have people get it that way. Okay, last one on the list, and the reason we put this up here, because we've had this up here since COVID. Everybody want to know what was better, better yet, and best. And this is all based on budget now at this particular point. So, and again, we don't talk about supplements in a vacuum for your immune support, right? Because then you're just taking an opportunity that is not fair. What we talk always, as you guys have seen this in all my writings, all the stuff that I put up there, along with proper sleep, eating healthy, including meeting protein needs, 1 gram per pound, below is the ideal support program here. And I listed it in order of importance so you can budget accordingly, with the top 3 being the most important. Okay, this has been on our website forever, and most of our clubs have this right in front. But again, obviously, the most important thing is listening to experts, washing your hands, wearing your mask as you need to when you're around people. All those things are certainly the most important, because that can help you from getting it. But once you have it, this is the magic. If you've been doing this your whole life, this is the magic. You're just, honestly, it'll be a sniffle or a cold, nothing more than that. Because you have saturated your body with the right multivitamin mineral your whole life. You don't just start taking it after you get sick. Not one single thing will change. These things take months and months to get working in your body completely. So the enzymes keep coming back and back, because now you've got vitamins and minerals that can actually fill the enzymes. Body gets rid of enzymes when there's no vitamin and minerals. You want them all there. All right, so if you've been using this all along, then no big deal. And plus, they contain very high vitamin D and C, all in one, right? Super Omega. And by the way, I think you guys know, I told you last time, vitamin D supplements have increased 400% since COVID. Super Omega 1 to 2 daily, all right, depending on, again, if you're eating fish, I have not taken one through this whole period, because I eat fish probably 6 times a week. But for lunch, might have for dinner the next day or whatever. I always have leftovers. So I have more than enough fish. It'd be an overkill. Now, again, I'm not an athlete anymore, so I don't need the extra to recover from exercise like other athletes do. Okay. Also, the Fender, remember, we talked about this. This is number 3 now. So you could sit here and go, well, how come the super antioxidants in there? Well, it's coming. All right. But if I had to go during times of high stress, during high health risk periods, I'm going here. So how much money you got? That's automatic. This is second if you're not eating fish. This is something you need to do. And again, to support the immune system through gut axis all the way around. Okay, and then the ultra probiotic, for the reasons we talked about earlier, same thing, GI. So both these support the GI tract, which is the highest amount of immune cells, and highest amount of immune communication starts in the gastrointestinal tract, and these 2 things support that. And then you have the antioxidant. So for all of you, and I know all of you that have been around us for all this time, you're probably using all of this. Not the muscle defender. That's only, I don't use it. And that's a recovery supplement for the athletes like Anna, Leo, or the people that compete. That's different. But during these times here, this is the perfect sort of, during high health risk, you would add this very high up in there right now. So that's just kind of how it looks. And then that's what the packages look like. And that's it.